When it comes to any running-based sport, the truth is pre-season is the time where most of the attention on running gets paid. But once that round one gets started, for whatever reason, in fact, for a variety of reasons, the running element of the game is often forgotten about. Problem with this is we're playing 18 to 20 weeks of competitive sport. And if we're ignoring the running element of a running-based game throughout that 20-week or 5-month period, naturally, our running fitness is going to diminish over the period of time, which means when it gets to the pointy end of the season, the time when you really want to be firing, so many of us are hanging on for dear life. Today, I wanted to share with you a couple of really simple, practical ways that you and your team throughout the season can inject some really helpful, effective sessions in and around your training week to make sure that your running fitness is firing all throughout the season. Now, just before we get into it, I wanted to let you know that we go into way more detail with all of this on the Relax Running AFL membership. If you're not a member yet, use the coupon code in the description below to save 20%. But for now, let me share a couple of practical ways for the time being for you to get started on improving your running fitness. It's no surprise really when you break it down why it is that so many of us forget about the running when the season gets started. It's just another confusing factor to try and weigh up amongst everything else that we're trying to navigate in the season. Not only are we trying to recover from last weekend's game, we're also trying to taper for next weekend's game. And with those two things playing against each other, naturally there's not a whole heap of room to inject any fast running. Now, when it comes to structuring running, I think one of the big problems is we think that a structured running session has to be huge. It has to be really big. It has to leave us on our hands and knees. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, a strategically placed running session throughout the week, which really takes into consideration, hey, how are you feeling from last game? What is your actual role in this coming game? Could be really helpful over the course of 16 to 18 weeks of a season. Now, let's just use the stereotype of a traditional AFL club's season. You might be playing on a Saturday, your next game is the following Saturday, and you've got a Tuesday and Thursday session. Now, this is where you have to be a little strategic, because if you've had a big hard hit out, chances are that Tuesday session is going to be more drills based. There might be some incidental running in and around the drills that you're doing, but there's not going to be a whole heap of structured running. Now, depending on what you do on the Tuesday night is going to dictate what we do on the Wednesday, because the Wednesday is the pocket in our week where we can inject a little more interval style running to maintain or even improve our fitness over the course of the season. But this is going to vary each and every week based on what it is that your coach offers you for the session the night before. If you've had a really heavy session, you've got a GPS on, you realize you've run 8K, it was pretty high intensity running, hey, let's just call that a really good running session for the week. If, however, you spend most of the time in the club rooms breaking down what went well, what went poorly over the course of last weekend's game, you only got a couple of laps of running in and maybe a couple of simple drills, that's where we want to use that Wednesday session. Now, the truth is there is so many different ways that we can structure the Wednesday running session based around your current fitness, based around your position, based around what it is that you're trying to get out of it. But essentially, a good general rule is you want to do something which is intense enough to get you breathing, but not so intense that it's going to leave you flat come next Saturday's game. So an example of this might be some really light aerobic running, conversational pace for 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your fitness, your confidence in the running. Then at the end of that, you don't want to absolutely overexert yourself, leaving yourself flat, filled with lactic acid going into Thursday session as well. You want to inject some reps from around 100 to 400 meters. Now, as I said, really difficult to be over specific because I don't know you as an individual. If you've got any questions around this, let me know in the comments below. I'll try and answer your specific comments. But you can get some real high value running on a weekly basis if you're paying attention not only to what you did last night, but to what your goal is or your actual playing role is come the weekend's game. This Wednesday session is a sneaky little pocket of time which is so underutilized by so many clubs at all levels that can see your fitness flourish all throughout the season. The other thing, especially for players and coaches who are a little more of the planning type, is to sit down and find out pockets of time throughout the season where you either have a bye round or you have an extended break in between matches. If you have a bye round, that leaves us with 2 weeks of structured time where we can really inject some high quality running into the week. For so many of us, particularly at community levels, I get it. That 2-week block is an opportunity for us to go to Bali and cause trouble and go up north or whatever it is that we want to do. But if we use this time strategically, we can use that 2-week break to really improve fitness. There is potentially 3 separate sessions that we can get done over that buy period, which not only throws a whole heap of volume and intensity, but really gives our running fitness a boost. Now, on the Relax Running membership, we've got over 100 different sessions that you can choose from. We've got a daily calendar which guides you all through pre-season. So there's a whole heap of help there. But more than that, we've got coaching threads where you and I can actually work together to figure out what's the best way to structure either yours or your team's running calendar to make sure that we're getting the most out of the running fitness routine for you and your club. Obviously, this is a whole lot of information. As I said, if I can break any of it down any more clearly, I would love to do that for you by answering any of your questions in the comments below. Until next week, I'll leave it there. We'll see you soon.